Hello, everybody. This is Lightning Mike, and we're doing a special live stream tonight. And I'm just really excited about my truck and being 3 years and 72,000 miles. So I wanted to do a special live stream tonight. So where you can ask me anything you want about the truck and my experience with it. And yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. So I hope you are too. So this is gonna be a great little Q&A time. So I want you to, if you could put in the comments anything, any questions that you have, and then I will try to answer those. And in the meantime, I want to tell you, like, what an honor it is to be. I was one of the first people to get the privilege of getting a Ford Lightning. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, hey, this the truck is canceled, and yeah, that's a sad day. I tell you what, I'll give you little hints on a future video. My wife and I actually just went and test drove a Rivian R1S. It's the SUV version of the Rivian truck that you might have seen. And whenever we got back in the Ford Lightning after test driving that, and we got in, and we were just like, it was almost like a breath of fresh air. It was like, wow, I'm just so thankful for our Ford Lightning. And some of you may have Rivians, so I'm not knocking that. If you like Rivian, that's fine. But we got back, and it's just a wonderful truck, and we're not that thrilled that we were like, man, it's too bad that they actually canceled this, because we would have gotten a future one, maybe a 2027 or a 28 or something like that when they come out. Anyways, but tonight I just wanted to talk to y'all about just what it's like to have the Lightning. I've had it for 3 years now. 3 years, 72,000 miles. Okay, let me be very specific. Right now it's 71,944.8, but by tomorrow it'll be like 72,000. So I'm excited about it, but I was one of the first ones to have the privilege of actually having my Ford Lightning. And I want to encourage you guys, go ahead and post comments and ask me any questions that you have. And like, I want to answer any questions that you have. That's what this is tonight. It's all about. Ask me any questions. I also encourage you, if you haven't subscribed or follow me on any of the channels, do that. And we're gonna discuss anything. You can also become a member of the channel on YouTube, and I'd really appreciate that. So, hi Chrissy, and Tech PC said, I'm gonna miss our massive frunk. That is true. The front trunk, or the frunk, whatever you want to call it, is just an awesome like, just a great addition to a truck. Those of you that have had a truck for a long time know that that's one thing that you miss, just having a regular truck, is just having a place to keep stuff. Like, you can put stuff in your trunk, it's more secure, everything like that. And I love it. So we're gonna be missing that. But hey, I'm not gonna be missing it, because I'm gonna be keeping this truck for a long time. My wife and I talked about it. I was gonna say, let's see how far this goes. But you may be curious, I mean, how long is the battery gonna last? I mean, how is your battery doing? So you may be wondering that. So I got a list of questions that I'm going to answer. But as we're going on here, I just want to let you know, go ahead and post stuff in the comments, and I'll answer as many questions as I can. And then, hi Michelle, thank you for joining. And man, I really appreciate you guys. Y'all have been just awesome, encouraging, just family. Everybody that watches my videos on YouTube, and that's the reason why I've done this, is because I get questions all the time. I even today going through a drive-through, somebody asked me, they're like, "Oh, how you liking your truck, man? That is a beautiful truck." And I'm like, "Thank you so much." And it's just awesome. So people asking me questions. So I'm going to pull up now um, some questions that y'all might want to ask, but I'll go ahead. Let's see. Is our lightning? That's a good question. Yeah, is our lightning losing value because they are no longer making them? That is a very, very good question. Um, so here's traditionally, here is what happens when they cancel a vehicle or discontinue them, stop making them, whatever. Um, it actually traditionally can lose value, quite a bit of value actually. It because it puts just fear in the audience, fear in the customers, and so traditionally it can. The Ford Lightning, however, is an interesting mix. So I've actually heard mixed reviews on the answering of this question because some people say yes, some people say no. But I actually I actually think that it probably won't. Just a short answer. I don't think it's going to lose much more value than it already has, and here's why. One, it already lost a lot of value. It's the EV thing. It has already lost a ton of value. So those of you out there, you may be curious, how much did you spend on yours? I have a Ford Light. I have a 2023 F-150 Lightning Lariat's extended range, all the bells and whistles, so the whole big package with the extended range battery and everything. I also have the max tow package, which is basically extra cooling for the battery. Um, it's in case you're towing or something like that. So I ended up spending, because I got it in December, so it's been a little bit longer than 3 years. I got it December 2022. So, and I got it whenever the price was really high, but I did get the federal discount and everything. So I ended up spending 81,000 on mine. So right now, you can actually go out and get a Ford Lightning for this same, basically the same truck, for about 69, 67, 67 to 69, depending on the discounts that you can find. Now, I will tell you, this model Lariat is actually really desired version because it has the extended range battery, all this kind of stuff. So you might actually have a difficulty finding a brand new one of these. There's a lot of flashes, there's a lot of XLTs still on the lots that I've been finding, but there are still some on the lot, so you can still go out and get a new one. But I don't think they're going to lose much more value because the EV side of things actually it kind of already took a lot of the value out of it, if that makes any sense. But then the other thing is they're canceling it, but not really. So they're actually just releasing a new version. So that might, because they're going to keep the name and it's still going to be an F-150, that might actually create more value in it. So hopefully that answers that question. Jack, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, it's like he's saying he loves his Lightning, and and his wife has a Cybertruck, but he prefers his Ford. I'll be honest, I've sat in the Cybertruck, and it just feels like a big SUV pretty much. I don't really, but yeah, Ford Lightning, it feels like a truck. So I really do hope that they change their minds and maybe release another EV version of it. But what they're going to be doing, just for those of you that may not be aware, the new version that they're going to be coming up with is called an EREV. And I talked about that in my other live stream, talked about that in a couple other videos, so you can watch those. But it's basically going to be an EV with a generator, a gas generator, that's going to be able to help extend the range on the trip and everything like that. So it's going to have the power of the EV, and the longevity of the gas engine. So there are some pluses there, but there's kind of some minuses to it as well. So I don't, so it's up in the air on all the specs on that. That's one thing I'm not really sure of. So yeah, keep posting your questions if y'all have any questions. Again, this is just doing a live stream to answer questions about 3 years, 72,000 miles. So let me pull up the questions here that I have. Like, if some people may be asking, how's the battery doing? Well, I will tell you, just this week, right now, I charged it up on Sunday to 100% again. I do that on a semi-regular basis. Some people may be, oh, don't ever charge it up to 100%. I actually recommend it every month or two. Just if you just charge it up to 100%, so you let it go down to about 20% or below 20%, charge it up to 100. It just kind of helps the battery out, I think, with longevity. I know that kind of sounds weird, but it actually looks like Jack asked, is there any loss in range? So yeah, that's actually just what I was getting to. So basically I charged it up to 100%. This is a extended range battery. And right now, it was telling me on the trip, whenever right before, or the estimated range, 320 miles. So the guessometer was basically the same. But I'll tell you, this is winter ish. In Colorado it hasn't gotten too cold. It did get down to the 30s today, but I've driven it now and haven't plugged it back in since Sunday. I've driven 109 miles and I still have now 65% left on the battery. Now keep in mind, 65% on the battery. I had 67% before I started setting up. I am actually running all my lights, everything off of my truck. And I had some technical issues earlier. That's why I was starting a little bit later. But I'm running everything off the truck. And so this has been about 3 hours or so of setting things up. So it was at 67%. I've found that it goes down about 1% or so, maybe every hour-ish whenever I'm using it. So, but the other part, to answer your question on how the battery's doing, I have not experienced any degradation at all. I did buy one of these, let me pull it out here. I did buy one of these OBD Link MX Plus things here, and you can pick those up on Amazon or wherever. And then on my phone, there's a car scanner app that you can download. So this is what everybody's telling me to do. It's a Car Scanner Pro app that you can download and connect with this. So now I'm advertising and talking positive about it, but this is how you're supposed to be able to measure. But I think I'm doing something wrong. I've looked up several videos. I have not been able to actually get it to work to tell me the exact, if they're like the exact degradation, if any at all. But I will tell you, I have not experienced it at all. I just took a really long road trip in it, and I haven't seen any. As a matter of fact, it kind of seems like it's actually getting better range than what it did whenever I first bought it. So let's see. Looks like yeah, I love my 24 Flash. Drove at 160 miles today. It's 70 to 75. I got 2 miles per kilowatt hour, and it was windy as heck in the Springs. Yes. So Colorado Springs, we call it this Springs for short. It is very windy here. Whenever you're driving on a trip, you kind of estimate it's going to get you about 2 miles per kilowatt hour. But because I drive from Colorado Springs to Woodland Park every day for work and back, and then I'll drive around town and stuff like that, I actually get better range because you go uphill and then back down. So that's how I've been able to get 350-ish, a little bit longer or a little bit more miles than that on a 100% to 0% test. I've done it several times. I've only recorded a few of them, but I've done it several times. and that's in the summer. In the winter, it's more like 320 and then 280, and I think around 260 depending on temperature. So that's kind of how range has been. But I haven't seen any loss in range. As a matter of fact, here's what's interesting too. I actually will just leave the truck sitting here sometimes if I don't drive it for a couple days, like on a weekend, if we're hanging out in the house and doing something or taking our other vehicle somewhere, and it doesn't drop any at all. It'll just sit here. And so I can really, really trust that it'll just stay. If I go on a trip, that may be a question um, that you have. It's like, hey, are you like if you're going on a trip or something, is it okay? Do you leave it plugged in or anything like that? Whenever you go on a trip, do not plug it in. I don't leave any electronic stuff plugged in as far as to the truck while I'm going on a trip. Um, and then what I do is I leave it plugged in. I leave it, charge it up to, 50, 60%, whatever it is. You just don't leave it at 100%. You can leave it anywhere below 100%. Then you come back and it'll be about the same. It'll be about the same range. All right. So I got another question here. Are you signed up for BlueCruise? My 90-day trial just expired, and I find it kind of hard to justify the $50 a month subscription. So here's the fun thing about BlueCruise. Yes, I am signed up for BlueCruise. So, but I have a special subscription, and what that is anybody that had the 2022s or 23s got a first 3 years for free. As a matter of fact, if you want to go out and if you find a used 23, um, you can still get the first 3 years for free. That just kind of came with the truck, but it has to be a Lariat with the, I think, extended range battery or the Platinum that actually has it. And you just have to make sure the BlueCruise is enabled. And then, so my subscription would have ended December 9th is when I purchased it. But then the but then they gave an extension offer to those of us that actually had that deal from the beginning. I guess they just needed more data, and so I got it extended for another year for free. So I went into my app, and then whenever I went to do the annual subscription, it just says like $0, and so it gave me that option. So that was pretty cool. But I'm sure that you're wondering, okay, is it actually worth it to do it? Here's what I think with BlueCruise. I like it on a road trip. I love hands-free on a road trip. But if I'm just going to be driving around town, like if I was not taking any road trips at all and I'm just working, going up and down to Woodland Park, BlueCruise only works on like interstates, pretty much. They're selected highways, pretty much, and some most of it's interstates and some is regular highways. So if you're traveling on those, I would say it's worth it. To me, a lot if you're traveling on those a lot. But if it's not, if you're just driving around town a lot, if you're only on the highway every once in a while, I don't think it's worth it. Something that you might want to try to do, I would recommend trying this. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't heard anybody else try it, but you can do what I do with Tesla. Like whenever I'm going on a road trip, I sign up for the monthly Tesla subscription. I think it's like $12.99 a month. And then after I'm done with the road trip, I cancel that. That's so I can do the supercharging. So what I would recommend is try that with BlueCruise. I don't know if that'll work, but you can actually try it if you're going to be going on a trip, sign up for it then and see if it works for you and then maybe cancel. I don't know if they allow you to do that like Tesla does, but that is something that you can try. So, let's see, can BlueCruise, let's see, you say I pay the $50 a month for BlueCruise, but I drive $2,500 or 2,500 miles a month. I actually agree with that. That's basically what I was saying. If you're going to be using it a lot, it's worth it. It really is. It drives for you, and mine works great. I do have a weird thing with mine where sometimes it doesn't do the lane changing thing. I haven't figured that out. It's been very sporadic. It'll work sometimes and then not other times. It'll act like the previous BlueCruise version. Um, Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us. It's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and put his up. Yeah, he'd do it for a month if he was doing a long road trip and not day to day. Yeah, I agree. Like if you're doing it for a long road trip, sign up for a month. I'd like to hear about that. Let me know if that works for you, just to do it for a month and then just cancel after you're done with your road trip. So, um, but yeah, if you're doing a lot of city driving, Jack, like it looks like you just do a lot of city driving. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't recommend it if that because it won't work for you, except for the few times that you might actually get on the highway. So hopefully that helps. But again, if anybody actually does have a good video, I know this is kind of weird. I'm answering questions, but maybe y'all can help me. If anybody does have a good video on how to get this OBD Link MX along with your car scanner app, I've tried it. I've been trying to get it to work and I haven't yet. I've talked to a couple people that are going to be working on some videos, but I have not been able to get my car scanner app to work with mine. Matter of fact, it just said, nope, disconnect. It's not working. So it was kind of funny. It's technology. It's got to be user error though. So Mark, no way. Should not have gotten a Ram. Should have gotten a Ram. No way. Not at all. I have not had good experience with Dodge Chrysler vehicles at all. So I am not going to go there again. Some of you that maybe have heard some of my past videos, I I actually used to own a long time ago a Dodge Dart, and this was the not the older ones, but the newer ones. I had a 2013 Dodge Dart. That was the worst. That was the worst car. That was the worst car. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna go back to getting the Ram truck. That's funny. So, but more questions that y'all may have. So we answered the question about the battery, how long, like how much degradation, and there's basically none, no degradation for me. Um, that's not official measurement. That's just I get the same range, if not, I feel like even better range than what I did whenever I had it. And some people, I get a lot of comments on range. Let me just talk about that. I get a lot of comments on the battery from people that don't have EVs, and everybody that doesn't have an EV, they seem to like knock on it and a lot of hate comments and stuff like that. Oh, that what is that going to cost you to replace the battery and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you go out and buy a new one, and there are still some on the lots, I would recommend it. Chris with Bow Family EV, he has a really good video on that. He was standing out there in the lot and actually doing talking about like the different options and stuff. So I would go over to Bow Family EV and get hit like check out that video. He kind of walks you through what you should do and stuff. But they give if you buy a new one, you get 100,000 mile, 8 year, 100,000 mile warranty on the battery itself. You get every other powertrain component like the motors and things like that is all I believe 60,000 miles. So everything you get a pretty decent warranty. Like I said, mine is 72,000 miles now, so I still got 28,000 miles on just my battery warranty. And but according to research and people that have had Teslas for a long time, things like that, man, Tesla batteries have lasted a long time on average. Yes, there are a few that go out. Chris had some issues with his battery in the beginning and just weird issues. I think it was more the 12-volt battery, but like but some people have the weird issues. But if it lasts this long, and most EVs are going to last a whole lot longer than engines, um, at least, 300, 400, 500,000 miles. There's people that have gone well more than that. And it's awesome. So that's something else I wanted to bring up, maintenance. So let me see if there's a question here before I get into that. So Billy bought a Lightning 5 weeks ago, like 10 days before they killed it. Tried to get ForeScan to work, but running into issues since I'm a Mac user. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I was talking with a couple people about that too. It's like I am asking around for a PC because I am a Mac user, and if y'all don't know what ForeScan is, it's an app that you can connect, so you can use it on a PC and you can connect it to this actually the same thing, and use it for kind of doing extra little programming on your truck. Ford allows you to do that, like different things with the headlights. You can just turn on different functionality. People were able to turn on BlueCruise 1.4 earlier and all of that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Um, so yeah, you could, if you can get it to work, that's great. But I'm dealing with that same thing. I'm a Mac guy, so I don't have a PC. All right, here's a really good question. Where it says, does anybody have an extended warranty? I'm looking at getting a Ford Protect plan since I plan driving the truck for the next 7 years. I'm really glad you brought this up. I have not done an extended warranty video yet, but I was going to be doing this. So I bought my, so yeah, Chris is saying that, or Bow Family EV is saying he can't get it in California, unfortunately, but he hears great things about the Granger extended warranty. I hear great things about Granger too. So that's one of the things that I was going to recommend. So there's two options that I would recommend. And one is I hear good things about the Ford extended warranty, and I hear good things about the Granger. But let me explain what I mean by Ford. So I actually didn't know whenever I bought mine. So I bought mine at here in Colorado Springs, and they did not tell me that Ford offers their own extended warranty. They didn't say anything about that because they're selling their own from the dealer. So here's my recommendation: do not get one of the extended warranties from the dealers because it locks you into that dealer. Um, but Ford will offer you, as long as you get it before 36,000 miles, Ford will offer you their version of, like, an extended warranty. Basically, they will extend their 36,000 mile warranty to whatever you select. I think I saw in there you could do like 140,000 miles. I didn't know it was available, but because this was new technology, I got the extended warranty with the dealership because I didn't know. I mean, it was new technology. I didn't know how well these things would go, but I made the mistake of actually getting it. So I don't recommend getting it from the dealership. Get Fords, but I've also, like Chris was mentioning, I've I think it depends on the states and stuff like that. But Granger is also a good one that I've heard good things about, that you can go to any dealership and they'll get that fix, get whatever fixed for you. So I haven't had to use my extended warranty yet. So that's not a bad, that is not a bad deal. Um, if you don't have to use your extended warranty, that means your car is doing pretty good. But I will tell you that on that the whole thing with maintenance and stuff, that's one of the things that people will say on a regular basis. It's like, oh, don't get an EV, you may have to change, the battery and all that kind of stuff. Well, one, the battery lasts forever. Two, there's literally no maintenance. There is uh, none. I mean, I had to put windshield washer fluid in it. I've had to change windshield wipers. I did have to, this is what I was going to be talking about in my third year video. I did have to get a new charger at home. Nothing with the truck itself, but I've been using my portable charger. I got an electrician to set me up with the 240 outlet, and I just plug in my portable charger. So because I use that all the time, I think my original one went kaput. So I just use my just bought another one, and that was about $300. I did find out that I overpaid, so there were there were ones that were cheaper, so I should have got like a Tesla one or something like that. So that's what I would recommend. Just a simple setup. I actually have the Ford Pro Charger, but it's still in a box. I haven't got that set up. I thought about doing it, but we've been talking about potentially moving, so I don't want to get that set up and then move and then have to, move that all. So if we're going to stay in this house, we'll probably set it up, but then if we move, I'll just set it up there. But it'll charge a lot faster. But I haven't needed it, so I did have to fix that. Let's see what else. I do have a crack in my windshield now, but that's not maintenance related. So I gotta get that fixed. But that's 3 years of driving in Colorado for you. And then, but yeah, nothing else, no problem with brakes. I did have to get new tires, but my tires right now, um, like my original tires they were really bad. My tires right now, though, I have now had for 45,000 miles, and like, and they still look pretty good. As I have Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. I believe they have the AT4s out now, AT4Ws. Um, so I love the Falcon Wild Peaks, and they did seem to have a little bit of a hit on the range in the beginning, but I haven't noticed too much. I actually got the 353 miles on one charge from 100% to 0% using these tires. So yeah, I haven't had any like issues with that. So see tires, um, yeah, that's about it. There have been a lot of the I guess the only negative thing that I would say right now is the recalls. The amount of recalls that have been on that Ford's had to do on there. I think I've probably had something like 14, and I have another one I'm waiting on right now. It's an advanced recall for the light bar, and that's it's just the light bar is just going out. Mine actually is kind of going out, and it affects on my truck. It affects like the reverse lights and stuff like that. So that one's an issue, but that's a warranty fix. Um, and so beyond that, there haven't been any issues. Super comfortable. I love taking it on road trips. I use the Wi-Fi like I'm using now. I use the Pro Power onboard. It's been amazing. So how many of you ever like out there that has a gas vehicle, um, like oh, that's funny. Chris says, like, it's bad where there's a recall issued for the 2026. That's funny. That's funny. Um, let me just do a little side note. I wanted to tell you this. I don't know if I could actually pull it up, but I just thought it was funny. Even after they canceled it, Car and Driver posted their top EVs for 2026, and Ford Lightning was like number 9, but it says 2026 Ford Lightning EV is in the top 10 like their EV picks, and they're still advertising it. I see it pop up on Facebook all the time. So it's like in the top 9 or top 10, and the vehicle actually doesn't even exist. So I just thought that was funny. Uh, but so I just tell you, like, how many of you like have ever driven a gas vehicle 72,000 miles and not had to do any maintenance? Seriously, I take it in. I have a maintenance trick that I do that I'll just teach you here. So I take it into Phil Long Ford, and that's where I go. And basically, I just tell him I would like to get a multi-point inspection. So with EVs, that's it. That's all you need is a multi-point inspection. and maybe rotating the tires. The battery is, because it weighs so much, the weight is distributed pretty evenly. So you may see that there's not too much uneven wear on your tires, even if you don't rotate them. But you go in every 10,000 miles and you have them check that. And what I have them do, what that's for, is they just check. They'll check the brakes. They'll check, lots of different things like they would on a regular multi-point inspection. And then what Phil Long, like your dealer may actually charge you for that. But Phil Long doesn't. They check the 12-volt battery, they check, the tire tread, they check all that kind of stuff. But I don't have them rotate my tires because I got my tires at Discount Tire. There's lots of other options for tires. You can go, and then I just got the plan where I just get them rotated for free at Discount Tire. So basically that's free. And then I go get the multi-point inspection at Ford, which was actually really good. And I do it strategically. So I'll do the 10,000, I did the 10,000, I did 20,000, 30,000. Then instead of waiting till 40, I did it right before 36,000. So in case there was any kind of warranty thing, I didn't have any issues. So that was all fine. But then I waited till about 60, till 50. And then I did it right before 60 because 60 is the next cutoff for anything with your powertrain. And excuse me. Get some water. This makes you smart. So, FC, yeah, y'all are awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to FC. He's shouting out to his friend. On here. So so basically what I did at 60,000, so it was really good that I took it in. It was probably about high 50s. And because I did that, they actually found there was something wrong with one of the like inner CV boots or something was leaking. And so they fixed that. And because it was they called it part of the powertrain or something, they fixed it for free. So that was a maintenance issue, obviously, and they fixed that. And then, so what I'll be doing, I'll take it in. I actually haven't taken it in for my 70,000. So I'll do that here soon. And then, I'll do 80, 90. And then right before I hit the 100, I'll have them check out the battery, just like that. So I recommend that if you're going to go for the maintenance. And seriously, you just go do the multi-point inspection. And then, I guess I did change air filters. I've changed those twice. So that did cost a little bit. But you can get those on Amazon. And in your Ford Lightning, I have a video. And I'm going to try to get on there and do it even quicker this time. But it's like how to change it in 90 seconds or less. So I did that. I'm going to try to change it in under a minute. But basically, it's right behind the glove box. You just pop that out, pop in a new one. It's super, super easy. Compared to some of the other vehicles that make it super complicated, Ford has made that really, really easy, and you can change it yourself. So, so you're saying your wife's MDX gets an average of $400 a year in scheduled maintenance. That's 2 services a year, usually 1 small service, 1 big service, and then a scheduled fluid, differential and trans stuff. Yeah, I mean, some people that don't drive that much, usually like with a gas vehicle, it's 5,000, 7,500 miles. I think Toyota, changes the oil every 10,000. So you're at least going to be doing something before 10,000 miles where you're going to be changing the oil and all of that. I did on my 2-year review, I added up all the miles or all the maintenance cost if I would have taken it in a Ford at their recommended, if I had a gas vehicle, and they recommended coming in every 5,000 miles and like how much that would cost. And that's where I got a lot of my numbers from. And then I haven't done the math yet for my 3-year. So I'm going to actually do an official 3-year video. But one of the reasons for doing this live stream is I I wanted to hear from you guys and get some questions answered, and just see if y'all had any questions and things that I can include on that 3-year review video. So let's see. I have a 24 Lightning. I don't always connect to Apple CarPlay. Is there any way to have it default to the navigation screen instead of staying on the Connect phone screen? That is a very, very good question. So are you asking about to default to the navigation screen on CarPlay, or are you saying to default to the navigation screen on the actual truck? I wasn't sure. So if you can answer me that question, then I can probably get you a better answer. So, and then, yeah, what trim level you have, that actually is a good question. If you have the bigger screen, the taller screen, or if you have the smaller screen. Okay, you're saying it's the Ford navigation screen. So you're asking, like, is there any way for it to default to that instead of defaulting to connect wirelessly to your CarPlay? So, yeah, if you want to, so you have a 24 flash with the tall screen. Yes. So right now, the way that it works for me, because I've set it up to wirelessly connect, um, like it will default to that. So it, like, as soon as you get in the truck, it'll it'll actually default connect wirelessly. So what I would recommend, if you don't want it to do that, if you want it to default to the Ford screen, is that you disconnect it wirelessly. You don't, like, there's a way to disconnect your phone, um, like you permanently disconnect it where it's not going to connect wirelessly, and then it will it'll actually default to the Ford screen. um, but then what I've experienced anyways is that whenever I start my truck, it will default to whatever the last screen is that I was on. So like if I'm on the Ford navigation screen whenever I turn off the truck, and if I'm not wirelessly connected to anything at all, then it will go back there to that same screen, is what I've experienced. Now, if I am, let's say my wife was connected, so my wife and I both have the wireless connections. Um, Now, if she was connected and I was not, and then she's not in the truck, but I get in the truck, it will default to the phone thing to try to connect. So, but if there's no connections, in my experience anyways, then what it does is it defaults to the last screen that that I actually was on before. So for example, like a lot of times it'll default, I like it to default to the Pro Power screen, because I have a whole system where I click OK to turn it on to sport mode, and then I go over there and I turn off the Pro Power, because most of the time whenever I'm driving, I just turn it off because it does have a little phantom drain, very, very small. But I did do a video test about it, and because I turn that off on a regular basis and put it in sport mode, it saved me zero point 0.1 miles per kilowatt hour range, zero point 0.1. So I had a video, I did a whole test with it. So some people didn't believe me, but that is what happened. So I've been doing that ever since, and it seems to work. So I turn off the Pro Power. So that's what it defaults for me, because that's usually the last thing. I'll just, click it over there and have it. And then, but if you have navigation screen turn on, then that'll pop up there. One way to do it, if it does not work for you, um, if it doesn't default there, if it's actually shows up where, okay, it wants you to connect a phone, and it's kind of, and then you have to scroll through and find the thing. You can actually, I can do it right now. Let's see, you can just click on here. You just click your voice command and you say radar. And then it will pop.
How can I help you? You can ask me to make a phone call, find a place, or play music.
All right, let me try again. Show me radar.
This request cannot be completed.
Okay.
Please turn connected navigation on in connected vehicle features settings.
Oh, no. Okay, I just now realized this. Because I use CarPlay, I don't use the Ford navigation that much. It expired. I had the free thing for like 3 years. So even though they the renewed the BlueCruise for an extra year, uh, my 3 year navigation, free navigation. So I'm gonna have to subscribe to that. I didn't realize that. Anyways, if you have that subscription, you have the navigation thing, you click on that. You can say show me radar, and it actually pops up with the whole weather thing. It's pretty cool actually, and it'll actually give you a little circle as to where on the map you can actually go to, like how far you can go before you run out of range. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, try it. Let me know if it doesn't work. You can put comments in any of the other videos. I also have a lightning mic on Facebook. So some of you are watching this on Facebook. Thank you guys for watching it on X. So, and some of you are watching it on YouTube. So I do have like, you can direct message me on any of those. So let's see. 24 flash update sync. They fixed a lot of the CarPlay issues, but messed other things up. I also have iOS 26. Yeah, sometimes these updates, that's one of the things that they do. They kind of fix things, but then they mess other things up. So that is that is the way it kind of works, I think. But yeah, try that with your truck if that's what you really need and you don't want it to automatically connect. But let me also add the reason why I recommended that, because our trucks actually have you can do wireless or wired. So leave a wired plug down there, and then if you actually do want to end up using CarPlay at some point to plug in your phone, or if you have an Android, to plug in your phone. So you could just plug it in wired, and then, but once you unplug it, it will default back to the connecting screen because that's where it was. So you can just unplug it and then go back to the map, and then it should default back where that was before. So at least that's my experience, and you can just let me know if you experience something different. Some of the other questions that I've gotten over the years of having this, is that, how do I feel about it now compared to whenever I bought it? And I'm just going to tell you, I think I love it more now because I've figured it out more. I figured out the benefits of it. I mean, it's just like, there's so much, like we were talking earlier, the front trunk, pro power on board. I have this huge sunroof, and everything, and it feels like a regular F-150. Comfort has not gone down at all. Like, it is super comfortable. The platinums are obviously going to be more comfortable. They have more comfortable seats, and you got the massaging seats and everything like that. Maybe. Oh, let me tell you that is something else. If you're going out and you're looking for a used one, or if you're going out, whether looking for used and new, make sure that you double check what the deletes are. Some platinums got the massaging seats deleted. Some trucks have the like, I wanted to get the automatic, running boards. Some of them have those deleted. Not that shouldn't deter you from getting one. Just know what you're getting into. Don't expect that the platinum's going to have the massaging seats, but they do have some pretty comfortable seats. So for me, this is super comfortable right now. My laptop that I'm talking to you through right now I love the little fold out, basically, desk in here, and I could just sit here and work. I do that a lot. I've done it so much. Like, anytime I'm on a trip, which is one of the reasons why I like taking this on a trip, is that I have the Wi-Fi. I open up my laptop, connects directly through the Wi-Fi. They use AT&T, and it's, to me, it's pretty fast. And I just have a desk, so I can just work here. I can edit all my videos. Works pretty well. Um, there's lots of things that I love about it. Like I said, the front trunk. There is one thing that I have noticed that does seem to be like it could be a little bit of a problem, and that's with the sunroof. Um, there's just a tiny, ever so slightly, I can't show you now because I'm not driving, but little rattle, just just a little bit, and then I'll just have to, and that happens every once in a while. I just have to open up the sunroof and then close it back, and then it's fine for maybe another 100 miles or something like that, and then it starts doing it again, just ever so slight. So that is something that I will have to try to, I'll take it in to Ford, and maybe I will have to use my extended warranty for that. So I'll do that before that one runs out. But yeah, so 72,000 miles, and I don't feel like this truck is uh, I don't feel like it's used at all. I mean, it's like it's great. And and then I mean, comfort wise, like I said, safety wise, I feel so safe in this truck. And if you go look at some of my videos, I hit a deer on the highway 50 miles an hour. Deer on the interstate. Those of you that live in Colorado Springs know I-25. There's not too many deer. Just every once in a while, it was random. Um, just hit a deer. I have a whole video about that. Took a little while to get fixed. But like you can ask my wife, man, like she was on it. She was just like, just kind of felt like a little speed bump. Boop, just whoop, boom. We pulled over. Obviously, there was a significant amount of damage on the front as far as just kind of damaging the bumper and everything, but it didn't hurt the frame or nothing. So everything was good. Um, and then, got the truck back after a couple months, actually. It should have been a lot less, but it did take a couple months for it to get fixed. I think they were waiting on some parts or something. So safety wise, I feel great. It really is a good truck. I really am very, very surprised that they're actually um, getting rid of it. And what I mean by that is it's like not surprised because of the money, but really what they should have done, it would be easy. All they're doing is they're just developing a new EREV version, like what I talked about before. So they could have just done that and developed that alongside of just releasing, because they were already ready to release the 2026s. They didn't have to spend any more money as far as on development or anything like that. They already had them ready to go. They just had to spend the money on producing them, and they decided not to do that. So they could have just done that while developing the EREV along with it. And then, if the EREV really was going to sell more, then they should have actually just shown it and proved it. And so that's what I think they should have done. It would have worked out better because there's a lot of people like me that got the 22s and the 23s that right around 2027 or so, like end of next year, or sorry, end of this year, I was thinking about trading it in. So basically, you already have some of these, like you already have almost some guaranteed sales of a lot of these people that are going to be trading it in. And now we're all sold on EVs. So I'm not going to be going back and buying, I'm not going to go buy a gas F-150. I'm not going to trade it in for that. So you basically are telling all these customers to go to Chevy or go to GM or something like that. But then now GM's making a weird decision about not putting CarPlay or anything like that in their cars. So people are leaving GM. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, except like now I'm just going to keep this for as long as I can, see how many miles, and maybe we'll be doing 172,000 mile live discussion or something. But no, I'll do another one of these whenever I hit 100,000 for sure. So another question that I've had. Thank you guys again for watching. If you just joined us, we're doing a live stream, just doing Q&A. Ask me any questions. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I really appreciate everybody that's a member of the Lightning Mic channel, and that really kind of helps me do these videos, and it's pretty awesome. So, and oh, some of the benefits of being a member is that um, you get a lot of those little digital badges and stuff like that. That doesn't matter, but all the members actually get to see my videos early, at least a day early. I'll post them, and then you get to watch the video early, and then at least a day earlier than anybody else, and you can comment to me on those. And so I'm going to be adding other perks whenever I get some merchandise and stuff like that, so as we go along. So I do appreciate everybody doing that. But yeah, I'm just doing this to answer any questions. So post in the comments if you have any more questions about the Ford Lightning and what it's like to own it for 3 years and 72,000 miles. So some people, the other thing that people have complained about, mainly that don't have an EV, is they ask me, well, how is it for towing? So I kind of have a strange answer on this one. And that is that I don't know. And what I mean by that is I haven't towed with it, but everybody that I know that's actually towed with the Lightning, they said it tows like a dream. It is like the best towing vehicle. It makes it feel like you don't have anything behind you. If you are going to tow, make sure you get an extended range battery version, because you're not going to like the range if you don't. And if you do tow, if you do get an extended range version, two pieces of advice on that. You'll probably be getting about 130 miles on 130, 150 miles on a charge. That's just what people are getting. Some people, depending on weather and terrain and everything like that, have got all the way down to 100, but usually you'll get anywhere between 130, 150 is what people are telling me. And then also, and I'll get to my strange story about towing in a second. And then also, somebody's posted, they did a test with this. They actually had a camper. So I have a hard top tonneau cover on the back of mine, like a one piece that kind of pops up, and I really like that because it helps with my equipment and stuff like that. So I'll talk about that in a second when I talk about the hauling part. But they put a full size camper on there, and then they were saying that it actually really helped the range on towing because there's no wind resistance hitting the front of the trailer that normally happens. So the wind's kind of coming over the top, hitting the front. Well, since they had a camper on, they actually got over 200 miles, I believe. So it's just something to think about. I haven't tested it out, obviously, but I have seen the videos on that. So now the strange answer on the towing part. I actually um, haven't needed to. It wasn't that I don't want to. It's just I haven't needed to. I work in television, so I actually uh, have the front trunk, and then, like I said, I have that one lid cover on the bed, and I have a video on my channel too that I shot a while back. Actually, it's only like a minute long, but I where I have the whole bed full and a lot of stuff in the front trunk. I even put stuff right here in the back. I just filled it up. I haven't needed all the stuff that I would normally put in a trailer. Now, I didn't actually have to do a trailer before this. So, but I would hire people that had a truck and a trailer, and they would bring the equipment for me different places before I got the Lightning. And then I realized I don't need it. I don't need to hire someone to do that. So it actually saved me money from not having to hire somebody to carry all this equipment around. I fit it in the truck, fit it back there in the front, and range impact for whatever I put in the bed. I mean, we're talking a couple thousand pounds of stuff, zero range impact. 0. Okay, so I did get another question here from Mike. So, hey, that's a good name. Would you consider replacing your current truck with a 2025? That's a very good question. So, I have a 2023. The benefits to the 25s are there's multiple benefits. The 25 has the heat pumps for the batteries. So there's a benefit in that would help with the winters with Colorado. So that is a benefit. Um, the downside right now, at least, is if I was looking for another one, I would want to replace it with at least my trim level or better. Like I want the extended range battery, which the Lariats do have. Um, and I want and I would need at least a Lariat, and I would want the max tow package and all of that. Um, but I wouldn't. So the issue is since they canceled it, they're not. It's would be kind of hard to find. I have actually looked. It would be kind of hard to find my trim level, and I did find one. I found a white one, um, and it actually seemed like a decent deal. I think it was like 69 after, or 67, 69 after the discounts, but before the discounts it was like 81. So the issue with that, and the reason why it's more difficult to consider that, is um, like here in Colorado they're still offering incentives for trading in like a gas vehicle for an EV, or EV incentives and stuff, but there's still a cap on that, and there's some weird rules with it. So I may not get the discount like I did whenever I bought this. Um, but there are some incentives and things, so it would be okay. But so yeah, would I consider it? Maybe, if I found the right deal and I was able to replace this truck. But here's what I would recommend anybody out there that's going to do it, because of the uncertainty on the value, whether or not it's actually going to go down or what it's going to do. I actually recommend to people to lease them. And I, I mean, if you can find a good deal on a lease, I think that that's probably going to be a better bet, as long as you can get the right miles, as long as you don't actually drive as many miles as I did. If I leased this with getting 72,000 miles on it in 3 years, I might be in trouble and have to pay a lot of money. So if I did do a lease, I wouldn't actually drive this many miles. But I've been taking it on a bunch of trips and things like that. So if you can find a good lease deal, I think that actually might be a good thing. But because they canceled it, I think I'm just gonna, like, if I was having issues, maybe. If they can't fix that tail light, maybe. But I would need to find one exactly like mine. And I like the 23s. The other thing I have going for me is I have still another year of free BlueCruise, and if you get a new one, you only get 90 days. So that is, it's kind of, there's some pluses and minuses to it, but I do like the new ones. The new ones, I don't have any issues with them. I think they have a lot, because of that heat pump that started in 2024. I think that's a good benefit. Let's see. Somebody's making fun of me for being a Cowboys fan. Um, I get that a lot. So, hey, I've been a Cowboys fan. I grew up in Texas, and yeah, it's just kind of, I grew up. I've always been a Cowboys fan. So I'm just gonna stay with that, and yeah, I'm I always root for my Cowboys. They do seem to let me down year after year, but I do still root for them. And this year they had a good team. They just kind of fell apart. So some of you football fans know that whenever you're uh, whenever you're giving, you have a good team, and then it's like, what happened? I don't know. So hopefully that answers your question. Got another comment here. Just bought 23 XLT extended range. Would you recommend leaving leaving in the truck for safe? Would I recommend leaving in the truck? You mean living in the truck? Like, I've heard of shifter malfunctions. What do you recommend? Oh, what would you recommend leaving in the truck for safety precautions? I've heard of shifter malfunctions, and have you experienced that? I'm not sure. You might want to clarify, Brian, your question. Like, um, if you're talking about like whether or not you should swap out the shifter. There's some people that have swapped it out with knobs and stuff. I don't recommend that. I mean, some people like it. I actually like mine. I haven't had any issues. Like right now, like what I was saying, it opens up at the desk. You kind of push the button and the shifter goes down. That's worked for me. I haven't had any issues with the shifter at all. So some people have. I have heard that, and then they swap them out with the little knob thing. But um, I don't know that I would recommend doing anything until like unless you have a problem. Um, so the 23 XLT extended range, so it's basically a similar battery to mine. You probably get better range than me actually, because you have a little bit smaller tires. So that's a good thing. But if you can you can ask another question on there, just like what would like what recommendations are you asking for? I'm not really sure besides the shifter what you're asking. Um, so um, Chris also said, 23 also, um, yeah. So if you go, so I have a 23 and I can charge with an 80 amp charger at home. The 24s, I believe, and the 25s stopped. I think they can only do up to 40 amps at home. Now you can go do the DC charging and everything like that and do more amps, but like the home charger, they got rid of they charge at slower speeds at home anyways, if it really matters. But right now I have, even though I have the ability to charge more that I could use my Pro Power for, yeah, Chris is saying 48 amps at home. Um, but since I use my portable charger, I only charge at like 30 amps. But I can set up my other charger and it would charge faster. I could actually set it up where it would go all the way to 80 amps because my truck can actually take that much. So that is something that they got rid of. And I believe they got rid of it in the 24s, but for sure it's gone in 25. So that's another reason to possibly keep this truck. But I haven't needed to charge faster yet. So it's not a huge deal. So all right, so I'm going to take just a few more questions, and then we'll end the live stream. But yeah, let me know if you have any more questions about, again, 3 years, 72,000 miles. What is it like owning a Ford Lightning? And then if you have any specific questions that you think I should include in my official video, let me know too. So I covered the towing and hauling. Um, so cost of ownership is another question that I get quite a bit. Um, like how much does it actually cost you to charge and all of that? Um, on average, now this is including trips and everything like that. On average, I've been spending somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1,000 a year. And now this is me driving 72,000 miles um, in the 3 years. So I spend like I think one year was down about 700-800, and then another year is a little bit more than that because I took more trips. Um, but if I was just charging at home and I charge on off-peak times, like you can actually set it to charge on off-peak times. So like if I'm just at home, I'm spending maybe $12 a week. So that's not bad at all, actually. It's a whole lot less than gas. Um, but compared to what I would spend with the gas F-150, um, like on gas and maintenance, it's about $5,000, maybe a little bit less now because gas has gone down, I guess, depending on what state you're in. If you're in California, I'm sorry, gas is just going to stay high, I guess. I don't know. Um, but like, and then some people have solar, and they're getting their charging for free beyond the payment of the solar system. So basically, what that equates out to in the first 2 years, it's been 8,000 on the first 2 years, and then I'm guessing it's going to be another 4,000 for this third year. So I've saved about $12,000 in 3 years. So yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So I just need to drive this thing for 12 years and it'll pay for itself. So, but it's kind of a joke, but it does save me a decent amount of money. Um, so like a portable jumper, would I ever need to jump start the 12 volt like an ICE vehicle? Let me show that. Okay, this is a very, very good question. So I recommend anybody, like everybody that's watching, if you go to my videos, you don't have to do it right now, but whenever we're done with the live stream, you can go to my videos and you can scroll all the way down to my oldest video, the first two videos that I did, like the next to like the second video that I did was how to jump start an F-150 Lightning. As a matter of fact, okay, so there was only like maybe a month or two into ownership of the Ford Lightning, and Ford wasn't even sure what to do. Whenever I called them and I told them, "Hey, my Ford Lightning won't start. It's stuck in, it's basically bricked in the garage." And I'm like, "What do I do?" I didn't know it had a 12-volt battery. I had no idea. It's an EV. I just thought it had a big battery. I didn't know. I mean, this was my first EV, so I didn't know anything about that. But I sure learned. I called them. They're like, I don't know what to do. They didn't have any instructions. So after a lot of research online and just kind of looking, I figured out how to manually open up the front trunk. Basically, what happened is that there was an over-the-air update that happened overnight, and it just drained the 12-volt battery. And so what I did was I just opened up manually the front trunk, and then I actually walked people through how to actually, on this video, how to actually jump start your F-150 Lightning. Caveat, very, very important. Use a jump and carry or like some kind of 12-volt thing. They sell them, they're really small. I had a bigger one whenever I did it, but they're really, really, you can get a small one now at pretty much any auto store. Do not use a regular gas vehicle to jump start a hybrid or especially an EV. Do not use just one of those little jump and carry things. There's a couple little places where I show you how to do that, and you can connect it and you can jump start it. So there's another video that I have on how to manually open up your front trunk. So you will need to know how to do that. Basically, you'll take your key. The key fob has a little thing. You can just take it out and you manually get in the front door. And then there is a manual release right by the driver's side. It looks like has a red tab, and looks like something you're not supposed to touch. But you pull that, it'll release the front trunk. And then you just manually lift it up. And then you're able to get to the battery. If you need to replace your 12-volt battery, it's just right in the back of the front trunk. There's a little panel that you can remove. And if you know how to do that, you just have to have the right tools, and you can actually go get that, or you can just take it into Ford and get it replaced. I probably will proactively get mine replaced. It's been 3 years, 72,000 miles, sometime this year, but I haven't seen, so I haven't seen, what the, like, you know, I haven't seen any problems with it, basically. Thank you, Kelly. Um, so somebody posted, I'm sorry about your hat. Oh man, I got some loving on the Cowboys here. Um, so here's the thing. Well, here's another question. What kind of horsepower does the Lightning have? Um, so I think the Lightning is the fastest vehicle I have driven, and I've driven a lot of vehicles. I've driven some sports cars. It is faster than a Mustang. It's faster than a Raptor. The horsepower on it specifically, I guess you'd just have to look it up. It's 500 and something, I believe. Um, so let's see. How much horsepower does a 2023 Ford Lightning extended range battery have? 580. So 580 is a it's a lot. I mean, the get up and go, it does get 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. So it will beat most things that are on the road. Obviously, Rivians are faster. It's only a dual motor, so anything with more motors than that, I've you know, um, it'll even beat a Tesla that's only, a dual motor if it doesn't have a big enough battery. Some Teslas are faster than this, though. A lot of them are actually. Um, so, yeah, it'll. Um, so basically, wow, it's impressive. Uh, yes, so that's something. It does have a lot of horsepower, but the thing I recommend is don't show off in this truck. It's not like it is faster than, most fast cars, but don't go like, it's fun for a second to do that, but man, it's a higher profile vehicle going down that fast. So, if you accidentally shake the wheel too much and something, you can get yourself in trouble. So, yeah, just be careful if it is a fast vehicle and you can get yourself hurt if you're not doing that. The tires make any difference? Yes, actually, tires do make a difference, Kelly. Um, so it depends on what you're actually wanting. Are you are you needing tires for like, as far as like where you are, where you're located, driving in the snow, ice, whatever? It does make a difference. Yes, like I said, I have Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. The reason why I like them is that I wanted all-terrain tires, and then the Falcons are well known for actually handling wet weather. And in Colorado Springs, so it's not like further north states where the snow just sticks on the road a bunch and then turns to ice. You might need some a little bit different tires for that. But in Colorado Springs, there's a lot of melting snow, and then there's rain, and I also needed some for dry. So the Falcon Wild Peak, at least the AT3Ws, I haven't looked up the AT4s, but at least the AT3s handled wet and dry weather really well. So that's the reason why I got them, and because it works well for Colorado Springs. As far as speed and things like that, yes, these tires are probably not going to um, get the speed that other tires might. Um, so um, you're asking, see, do they make this in 4-wheel drive? Yes, it does. This is a 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive truck. I mean, I can switch it into like an off-road mode. It does, have the option to lock the differential. It's a little bit different than the official 4-wheel drive, but it does operate. It does operate like an all-wheel drive mix of an all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive vehicle, depending on the setting that you put it in. So But yeah, I would. I love this. I love this truck. It really is the best, and I don't think I would want another one. I was really looking forward to getting the new one, but it's just not gonna happen. So we'll see. I might change my mind when they come out with the EREV. Who knows? But I really, really, really like this one, and I like what I'm doing right now. So meaning I have my truck turned on. Um, I have my truck turned on. I'm in the garage, closed. I've been in here for hours, and I got lights plugged in and everything. You can't do that with a gas vehicle, obviously. You know, you're going to have exhaust in here and everything like that. And our power has gone out at the house a few times. Our internet's gone out. We just sit out in the truck and work if we need to. So that's pretty good. Also, John, you're saying must handle pretty good with all-wheel drive. Yes, this is one of the best handling, um, like all-weather vehicles. It handles great in the snow. It handles great in the wet weather, dry weather. Pretty much anything that's been thrown at it. You can look at videos online about that. Man, there's all kinds of people that have tested it. Now, caveat with that, you do need the right tires for the right weather. So don't be taking a all season tire and expect it to do like amazing in the snow. But because of the weight, um, that's great, Dakota. I love that. Hopefully, it performs better than the Cowboys. That's awesome. It does. It actually does a better job than the Cowboys. That's awesome. You know, it will last all through the season and into the playoffs. And if any truck could win the Super Bowl for you, this truck could. So that's awesome. Um, but that cracks me up. So, but yeah, it handles great in pretty much all weather. But you do need the right tires based on the weather. Um, so, like I said, I get the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws, but they're not really designed for heavy, heavy snow. You obviously need, I mean, they'll handle snow because they are all terrain and they do have a pretty good grip on them, but they're not going to be handling like stuff like some of the like like better tires will just for snow. But some of those tires, like the reason why I didn't go with the KO2s at the time, which I think now they have the KO3s, but at the time that I got them, there was only the KO2s. The reason why I didn't go with the KO2s is they're the BF Goodrich, in case you're wondering, is they didn't have the dry weather and the wet weather rating that these did, but they handled really, really great in the snow. So if I would have got the KO2s, then maybe like Dakota was saying, maybe they wouldn't, they would do just as well as the Cowboys and not do, not do that well. But honestly, people put KO2s on them and they're fine. And, but just make sure you get the right tires for your terrain, your wherever you are and stuff. So, all right, let's see. Battery pack must be under the bed, so excellent traction over the rear wheel, unlike the ice trucks. That is true. Battery pack with the extended range, you could actually look up, there's a layout online, but the battery pack, it does start kind of by the bed. There's a spare tire back there too, but in front of the spare tire, and then it goes underneath the cab. But there's also another one in the front. So remember, this is being an EV. You don't have the weight of the engine in the front. You just have battery throughout. There are motors. There are EV motors in the front and the back on the axles, but the battery does even out the weight quite a bit. Um, so, but yes, it's nothing like it's nothing like like the ice trucks at all. I do have a video on there of me just playing around in the snow. There was like only like 6 inches of snow, but I drove around in a parking lot and had some fun. So I do have a video on there about doing that. So Kelly's asking how good is it? How's it do in the snow? It is the best vehicle I've ever driven in the snow. Like I said, it is all-wheel drive. You can lock the differential, so it does act like a four-wheel drive if you need it to. Um, but it's the best vehicle I've driven in the snow. And again, you need the right tires for it. It handled pretty well whenever I had the original tires on it. I did have one little time where it slipped, but that was because those tires started wearing out. The important thing with the tires, though, just keep in mind, make sure like that you don't think of it like a regular gas vehicle because there's so much weight here. You actually do have to increase the tire pressure a little bit more in order to compensate for the weight. So make sure that you look that up whenever you're researching the tires and stuff. And the reason why I say that is the tires that came with this, they were recommending 36 psi, but then later on Ford kind of changed that and they were recommending 42. I keep at least 42 in them right now. I am at 43. They're at weird things, but it's a little bit above 43, 43, 44. One of them's 45. So, um, but I usually keep between 42 and 45, depending on temperature outside and stuff. So, what color? What color is mine? The white ones are nice. Yes, I was looking at white originally. Mine is what they call antimatter blue. So it's like a dark blue that, depending on the way the light hits it, it almost looks black. But it's really a dark blue. When the light hits it just right, you can really tell it kind of shimmers and stuff. It's kind of a nice color. So, yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, so the white ones are nice. There's probably still several out there. I definitely recommend going and getting one. If you've been wanting one and you don't have one, go get one. There really is the best vehicle from my recommendation out there right now. I think I mean, I like it because it's comfortable. Teslas are nice. They're doing really good things with the full self-driving, but the Ford Lightning, it's really hard to beat it. It's comfortable. It's really nice. I wouldn't want another vehicle right now for myself. That's why it was so disappointing when they decided to cancel it. So let me see if I have any other questions here. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, I think that was all the questions. I did already cover, the comfort, you know. Um, I did want to tell you, just like any vehicle, people have asked about the entertainment system or whatever. It's a Ford infotainment system. It's, like usually people just use CarPlay. So that's all fine. So it's like their software is not the best. So that is a little bit of a negative with Ford. I wouldn't recommend their software. You definitely need to use with one exception, you definitely need to use like CarPlay, Android Auto, whatever you have is going to be much better than what they have here. And the one exception that I recommend trying out sometime is what I did with the radar. It's like show me radar. Obviously, it's not working because I need to renew my subscription. Apparently, I didn't know that. So, um, it's basically um, like it's not a good, updated software like Tesla's and stuff like that. Tesla's is like 10 years beyond where this one is. John is asking, do you know what it costs a month to charge up about? Okay, so I'll just, depending on where you live, I can just tell you what it cost me. And Colorado Springs rates changed. I only charge during off-peak times. So off-peak times is anytime not 5 to 9 p.m. weekdays. So after 9 p.m. weekdays, I'm charging, it only cost me like 7 cents per kilowatt hour. They did change that where it's like, I believe on peak times are really, really high. So I just don't charge during those times now. They increased that quite a bit. But it cost me about $12 a week, is what it cost me in town driving around, working, staying at home, anything like that. If you are traveling with an EV, it will cost you about the same as traveling with a gas vehicle. So, with a couple exceptions, find hotels. You can look it up on PlugShare app. You can just go to the PlugShare app and look it up on hotels that have free charging, and then you know stay at a hotel, get free charging overnight. That'll save you some money on a road trip. So yes, it is really really cheap. Like I said, I spend about $1,000 a year, but again, that I traveled a lot. I did a lot of trips. I did at least one 4,000-mile road trip every year. I've done several 1,500-mile road trips in between there. So that adds up. Like I said, adds to my cost. But if I stayed at home and I only charged at home, then my then it would be about $12 a week. So some of you mathematicians may already have that figured out, but I will just look this up. What's 12 times 52? $624 a year if you're at home in Colorado Springs. Um, but California is really expensive on electricity um, unless you have solar. If you have solar, it actually will save you a decent amount of money depending on the how much it costs you to put those solar panels in. So EVs, like I would highly recommend them, depending on which ones. Obviously, some of them aren't there yet, but the Ford Lightning is basically uh, it is to me right now the premium SUV. Great deals right now. If you go to a Ford dealer, I'm sorry that you have to deal with the dealer. Tesla hasn't worked out with a direct to consumer thing. That's much better. But yeah, it really is a lot cheaper than gas. So if you're trying to save money, at least my experience with the Ford Lightning, I can't say that you're going to save money with every EV. I've heard that some EVs actually, somebody was telling me about Rivian, they actually charge a decent amount sometimes when you have to go in for maintenance, and they wear the tires out a little bit quicker. So it just depends on the vehicle. I can't tell you that for sure. I've just heard some things with Rivian or be a little bit difficult. Um, but it's still going to be cheaper than a gas vehicle. Um, and it says, that's a lot cheaper on gasoline, and I'm getting it for 2.40 a gallon in Missouri. Yeah, Missouri, you can look up whatever your electricity rate is, and then you know compare that and see how much cheaper it would be. I don't know what electricity rates are in in Missouri. I have not heard. You were saying you thought Rivian was going out of business. I have not heard anything about that. That's probably just a rumor. They're coming out with the R2. As long as Amazon is still supporting them, I think they'll stay in business because they're making those delivery trucks for Amazon. Um, and then let's see, CRS Speed Reviews says I'm loving the savings from gas to electricity. It cost me $4 a day to fill up my 23 Chevy Bolt. That's awesome. Yeah, it's super super cheap. So like I said, don't you know I don't want to go back to a gas vehicle. We have a Tesla. Model S as well, and that's even cheaper because I got a 2015 Model S that actually has free supercharging. So once a week or so, I'll just go over to the local supercharger whenever I'm going to be near that area, and I'll just plug it in, and it has free supercharging. So that's even cheaper. That's pretty awesome. So we do have that. I do actually still have a gas vehicle. It's just an older Nissan Rogue, and then we're going to be selling that at some point. But we don't even drive it; it just kind of sits. So we do still have that. So um, yes, John, you're saying good info on that. Yeah, you didn't know that Jeff Bezos is backing them. So in the beginning, Rivian actually started out getting backed by Ford and Amazon. That was some of their two backers, not in the very beginning, but whenever they really started producing trucks and everything. Ford backed out whenever they were releasing their Lightning. So Ford did also support them in the beginning as well. But their Amazon is still with them, and they're producing tons of vehicles for them. Amazon has been a big backer with them, and so as far as I know, they're going to still keep going. But speaking of Rivian, check it out. I don't know. I think it may be Thursday or Monday. I may release a video about my wife and I actually went and tested out the Rivian R1S. I said earlier in the video, and it was a great SUV. But honestly, I would go after getting a used one or do a lease on it if you're going to get it. I didn't like, just kind of a hint of our review with it. I didn't feel like it was worth the $100,000 that they're charging for it. So they look really nice. Um, you know, yeah, you're saying they look pretty sharp. That's why we went and test drove it. So we test drove a Model Y. We're doing a new series called The Good, the Battery, and the Ugly. And so we're looking at all the different things, like our opinion, because we're finding a new EV for my wife, which is why I still have that Rogue, because we're going to be trading it in, because Colorado offers an incentive if you trade an older gas vehicle in on a new EV. So we're planning on doing that sometime late spring, maybe early summer. So yeah, it's like the good, the battery, the ugly. So we already have a video out on the Model Y, and then I'll be releasing one on the Rivian soon. But the Rivian has some issues that I just think are odd. It just makes odd noises, just random times, because it has like air suspension, and so it's always adjusting that air suspension, and then just random things with the like air conditioner and stuff like that. It was just weird noises. Did we like it? Yeah, it was great. Did it fit us? Yeah. It wasn't as comfortable, and it didn't pass what I'm doing. I'm doing a cup holder test, like a road trip test. And I know it kind of sounds weird, but in this truck, I have access to me right here, not when this thing is folded up, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cup holders that I can access myself. And then there's another 2 over there for the passenger. So there's like 8 cup holders up front. And then um, back there in the back, there's another 2 on each door. And then in the middle here, there's another 2. So this thing has tons of cup holders. And like, it definitely passes the cup holder test. Sorry, some of these comments are cracking me up. They're saying that, they're just making fun of Dallas Cowboys. They're saying go Birds. Well, Philly's in the playoffs, so they're obviously doing a lot better than my Cowboys are. So, okay. That's sad. Eventually, when Jerry Jones sells the team, then maybe they'll start winning again. I don't know, but um, so, but yeah, it's I wouldn't recommend necessarily the newer Rivians, but we just weren't as impressed as like you sit in the truck and you feel the truck is just awesome. And we sat in a Model Y and we felt safe, we felt comfortable. Everything was more advanced than the Rivian. So the Tesla definitely had it beat so far, but we're going to be testing out other things. So I need to hear from y'all on that. What other vehicles should we test out? I'm thinking about going to test out the Lucid Gravity. Um, there was a few other ones like Hyundai's, and so then we might test those out. But if you want to know about a vehicle, like we'll go test drive it for you, or y'all can go test drive it yourself. There's plenty of EVs out there. So um, let's see. They probably aren't using the same electric drivetrain that Ford is. No, Rivian does. Rivian has a different because they're a smaller. It's a smaller truck, but they do actually have the thing that they do have going for them is the range. They have over 400 miles on range, and so they got that figured out. That is a plus side. That does beat Ford. It's even higher range than Tesla, so we gave that a 10 out of 10 on range. So, um, but yeah, Lucid is also um, another one. Lucid would definitely beat this truck in a race, even though Lucid is crazy on horsepower. The thing about a Lucid, and we'll go test drive this, but I want to test drive the Gravity because I actually tried to sit in the Lucid car, and I bumped my head getting in and out of that both ways. Just knocked my head like really hard the first time. I just wasn't expecting it to. There just wasn't a lot of room, so I bumped my head getting in and out of that. So I wasn't a big fan of the car, but the range is nice. And so I want to test out the SUV and see if that's any better. I'm 6 feet, so it's I'm not too tall, but I'm not too short. So, but the Lucid cars are kind of made for shorter people than me, I guess. So, so anyways, but but yeah, that's pretty much it as far as like what I wanted to cover. I really appreciate you guys asking questions. Yes, John, if you are 6'7", I would not recommend getting the Lucid car. I actually have a decent amount of headroom still in the truck, so lightnings are still in for you. So, actually, that's a good question we got here. Um, have you test driven the Silverado EV? I may trade up to the Silverado. I have not. They actually do get better range. And the reason why they get better range is the battery. They have a huge battery in there. They don't, so they get better range on a full charge, but get, um, they don't get necessarily better range miles per kilowatt hour necessarily than this truck, but they do depending on tires and speed and all that kind of stuff. But they do get better range overall on a charge, so it helps with towing and things like that. But no, I should test drive that. That is a good option. So that is one thing I wish that Ford did, just throw in a bigger battery, and I think that would solve some of the range issues, and then people would be easier. It would be easier for people to be comfortable to go to an EV. So I think that's good. So if you have any more questions, I'll stay on for another minute here. But yeah, this has just been a great time. I really appreciate it. It's been some great questions. Um, but yeah, if you want to, I'm gonna be doing a 3-year review official video, and then I'll include some of these questions in there as well as some other ones, and then if I can get my OBD port reader working, I'll actually try to. That's what I was waiting on, is to get that working so I can actually show you the official, um, like battery degradation, if any at all, and then so basically, I'll include that. But yeah, I'll be doing that video, and then be on the lookout for more videos about more EVs that we're testing out. And then if you have any other questions about any other EVs, you can comment. I respond to every comment on like on the YouTube, on my YouTube, on any of them, on I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X. We even started TikTok recently, so I'm not doing live on TikTok right now, but we do have a TikTok channel, so you could go down there and ask me any questions on any of them. So you were saying, let's see, John, the 3WT is a smaller motor drivetrain. I don't know that. Like I said, I need to actually look up. I need to actually test out the Silverado, and I'll kind of do some research on that. And then CRSB. I saw a video of someone getting 430 miles range from a GMC Sierra EV by driving 70 miles an hour on a road test. That's probably true that they do have higher range. Yeah, so with a bigger battery, you're definitely gonna get bigger range. So my guess is a lot of people are gonna be switching over to GMC or Chevy if they want to keep a truck and keep an EV. But I'm gonna be keeping this as long as I can, and we'll see what Ford does with the next iteration. So, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Then this has been awesome. I'm going to try to do these on a semi-regular basis where y'all can just get on and ask me questions. And hopefully this has been helpful for you. I always love getting on here, connecting with you guys. And let me know in other future comments if you have any other ideas for any other EVs that you want us to try. And so thank you, John. Thank you very much, John, for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and y'all are awesome. And I'll still see you on the next video live stream, and whatever. Go check out some other videos, subscribe, become a member. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time.